Hi, I'm Scott Richards, CEO of Dial 800, and we're going to talk about increasing agency profits. Recently, CoreMedia and Dial 800 have integrated our services, and we're going to talk about that today. 10% is the additional sales that your clients will make using Dial 800's platform. So if you don't remember any of the details that we talk about today, this is one thing that I want you to remember, which is any client that uses Dial 800 service, we will increase their sales by 10% after all Dial 800 fees, and we guarantee that within a 30-day period of time. So everything else we're going to talk about is how easy it's going to be now to use the core interface and increase your calls, increase the connects, meaning the operators that are answering the calls, and increase the sales for your clients. And as of course you increase sales for your clients, you're increasing your agency's profits. So Dial 800, real briefly, we have 4 services. We have a bank of over 50,000 very memorable 800 numbers that significantly increase response. We have a call routing platform that allows you to maximize the sales to different call centers, and all those sales data comes back into Dial 800 and we report it right into the core platform. We have a call tracking, analytics, demographics, and recording. It's called CallView 360. And finally, call center data, which is the API from the call centers that send us sales data back into Dial 800 that, of course, we send into Core. We were founded in 1989. I've been the CEO since 1996. We're located in Los Angeles. Our focus is a high level of service, something a lot of companies aren't used to. We call it concierge, and our clients understand what it means after they come aboard. Our technology is rock solid, 99.99%, 999%, 5 nines as they call it, both in Los Angeles and Dallas. We have colo facilities. And here's a quick overview of a few of our clients and what they have to say about Dial 800.
From the very beginning, CallView 360 was intended to be very simple, very powerful, and very flexible. Very easy for users to use.
I love how easy to access information is in CallView. I can get in the morning, get the data I need, fill out my reports, and talk to my clients, and not miss a beat.
People are going to notice immediately how fast it is. You are going to be able to load literally millions of minutes in seconds.
For me, the most powerful aspect of CallView 360 is the flexibility. It really allows me to see what I need to see, but it also allows the other people in the organization to see what they need to see. And they may be completely different, but the interface is the same.
I've met with the Dial 800 staff. I think almost all of their internal concierge staff. These are really smart people, and they're really experienced, and they will be able to guide advertisers to the most appropriate approach. So I think the secret weapon that Dial 800 has is its people, actually. On a Monday morning, the first thing I do when I arrive at the office is pull up CallView and look at the metrics for the previous week.
I'm able to take a look at just overall call volume, and it gives me the flexibility to be able to basically check on all our campaigns. Check how they're doing individually, check how they're doing cumulative. It's really powerful.
In a lot of cases, we may go even further as far as segmentation or lifestyle segmentation and so forth. CallView 2 has a lot of that built into it, which is pretty amazing.
I can't say enough good things about Dial 800. They helped our company grow. We couldn't have done it without them. We consider them a very valuable partner.
With the new CallView, we set out to design something powerful. And this led us to think about what a marketer needs to know to not just track their calls, but to also increase them. That allowed us to design the very best call tracking software, not just for today, but for the future.
All right, so that's a little overview of Dial 800. The only thing we didn't have is a media buying platform, and we could either build it, which we started looking at it and we decided, no, we're not going to go ahead and build this. So we had to go find the absolute best media buying platform to integrate with. And of course, that's CoreMedia, and that's exactly what we did. And one thing that we noticed early on is that there was a lot of feeds from a lot of different sources, a lot of call centers and call tracking platforms, all going into the core platform. And that makes it a little bit difficult to administer all of the different feeds if you want to change things. And so we got to thinking and collaborating with Core, and Gabrielle over at Core and Chris Hennis, our Director of Product Design, and we said, gee, what if we could make a real simple, just a plug and play where all of the sales and call data would come just from Dial 800, and if you wanted to change something, then you could change it really easily, and that's what we did. Glenn said something very nicely. CallView delivers the data in a format that CoreDirect can read and process completely hands-free with no manual inputs required. And that was really the challenge. So this is basically how it works. It's a set it and forget it platform, and you start out with the call centers and Dial 800 and CoreMedia. So you could have multiple call centers, and the calls which come from Dial 800 are sent to the different call centers. The call centers then send us back sales data, and then we take the call and sales data and of course put that right back into CoreMedia so the agencies can all go ahead and buy the most effective media. It's that simple. So any changes that you want to make in your response codes, how long a call will be to be considered a lead, so on and so forth, can be done now in Dial 800. You don't have to call 3 call centers to make a simple change. You simply go online, change it, and like we had the slide before, it's a set it and forget it. Now, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Rapid Recall, which is one of the ways that we generate more calls. We don't just track calls and route calls, but we actually get a lot more consumers to call. And that's because the numbers that we use are 800s, and they have 3 chunks of information. And that's about as much as people can remember in their short-term memory. And it's amazing what the difference is when you use a 3-chunk number. Let me give you some examples. This number here, it's 800-411-1777. So the 411 is 1 chunk of information. And then you got 1777. So you can see, and we of course labeled the chunks here. And when you read the voiceover, you read it that way. 800-230-232. And that kind of number, and I'll show you one of the case studies. We've done several case studies, generate a lot more response. So here's some different numbers. There's an 800 series. So here's a real test we did with a major company, one of the largest direct response companies that does beauty continuity. And it was a radio campaign, and we tested this number, which is an easy to remember number with 3 chunks, 226, 7700, and we tested it against a random number and generated 25% more response on radio. We've tested it on TV as well, and we have those case studies on our website so you can actually look at those case studies. Now, just in case you have any clients that use non-800 numbers, for instance 877, that is a big mistake, and so you, as an agency, should advise your client not to use it. I'm going to give you a story that kind of help you. I actually wrote an article called The $6 Million Mistake. It's on our website, and it's about a company that was advertising 877, call it Acme Company, and our client had the 800 version. Our client received 50 to 60,000 misdialed calls every month and set up a business to directly compete with that client who had that other company, that had the 877 number. Net result is that our client opened up 80,000 accounts. It happened to be dial-up internet service, and over a 15-month period of time, and ended up selling the business that they had built purely on misdialed calls to the company that had the 877 number, and they sold it to them for $6 million. So when you have an 877, 866, 888, anything that's not 800, consumers, anywhere between 10 and 25% of the consumers will accidentally call 800. So please, only use 800. Another quick story. This is Idols 01, 02, 866 Idols 02. Ryan Seacrest says call it, vote. 125,000 votes separated. Rupert stuttered from Clay Aikens, and 240,000 people accidentally misdialed the 800 version of Idles 02 instead of dialing what Ryan Seacrest said to call, which is 866. So again, if you don't remember any of the details, this is the one detail you should remember. 10% net increase to your client after all costs when you add Dial 800 into the equation. And of course, as an agency, it's going to be way easier because now you have a fully integrated Dial 800 and CoreMedia. I'm Scott Richards, CEO of Dial 800. Thank you for listening.